Thank you, Sarah, and welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm Arina, a staff applied scientist from PagerDuty. Very excited to be here. And today I will share how we test and evaluate AI agents at PagerDuty. And I will talk about what's unique about that compared to traditional software and some lessons we learned along the way. So I hope you all are familiar with PagerDuty, but those who are not, I just want to briefly review what PagerDuty does. PagerDuty is a software as a service platform that helps developers, DevOps, IT operations, and business leaders prevent and resolve incidents that could impact business and customer experience. It offers proactive event management across IT environments with features such as native integrations, on-call schedules, escalations, response orchestration, noise reduction, and analytics, ensuring real-time data delivered to the right people. So in the past 2 years, my teams developed PagerDuty Advance. It delivers AI-first operations for our customers, featuring 5 AI agents. Our GenAI-powered assistant, the coordinator agent, is deeply integrated with the Operations Cloud, empowering responders with right information at the right time. It enables agent-to-agent communication across 4 AI agents before, during, and after incidents. Our AI agents free teams from routine work. Manual tasks like on-call scheduling changes, scribing incidents data are eliminated with the Shift and Scribe agents. The Insights agent continuously analyzes data to offer proactive recommendations, helping teams improve their operations over time. The SRE agent automatically resolves routine issues, runs diagnostics, provide remediation plans, generate incident playbooks, and execute approved solutions, all while continuously learning. So before I talk about evaluating and testing AI agents, let's define what I mean by an AI agent. In an LLM-powered agent, the language model is a brain. But what really makes it agentic are 3 things: planning, memory, and most importantly, tool use. Planning allows the agents to break down the prompt into a step-by-step plan. Memory helps it track the conversation and remember key information for future use. But tool use is where the real power comes in. This means that the agent can call APIs, fetch data, or even take actions on your behalf, connecting the agent to real world and enabling it to actually get things done, not just generating text. With those abilities, AI agents can make decisions, adapt in real time, and deliver real value. So when we put AI agents into production, we face new risks, some of which are similar to what we have experienced with large language models, LLMs, like hallucination, unpredictable behavior, and compliance issues that we don't see in the traditional software. Traditional testing is not enough. It often misses things like prompt sensitivity, where small changes in phrasing can lead to totally different answers. And it doesn't account from the dynamic ways agents use tools and solve problems. AI agent behavior also shifts based on context, data, or model updates, making outcomes unpredictable even if our code stays the same. Because of this, our testing strategies need to evolve. We need new approaches to catch those challenges and make sure our agents are reliable, safe, and trustworthy. So if you remember only one thing from this talk, let it be this. When you start working on your agent, start by creating regression tests. So what is regression test? If you have worked in traditional software engineering, you probably know the basics. A regression test checks whether new changes like code updates, bug fixes, or new features have accidentally broken or changed something that used to work. After you make updates, you run regression tests to make sure everything that worked before still works now. If something that used to pass now fails, that's what we call a regression. In the context of AI agents, regression testing means rerunning your set of gold standard questions, tasks or scenarios after you update your agent or its tools or the underlying model that it uses. This helps you catch unexpected changes in your agent's behavior. With LLM-based agents, even small updates, as I said before, like a new model version or prompt tweak or a tool change can cause big shift in behavior. Regression tests help you spot those changes early so you don't accidentally ship a broken or degraded experience to your users. When we run a regression test, we measure a few key things. First is the correctness. Is the agent's response actually correct? Second is performance, including latency. How long does it take to respond? We also track errors, timeouts to make sure the agent is reliable. Latency is especially important since LLM calls can be slow, and agents often call the LLM multiple times. Our best practice, avoid using LLM for things that you code directly. For example, if you need to calculate an average, don't use LLM. This keeps your agent faster and more reliable. Now, let's walk through how we iterated on regression testing while developing the Shift agent, which helps manage vacation conflicts with on-call shifts and recommend coverage. We started with manual testing. We curated a golden data set of questions and prioritized them. This helps the team to focus on agent's functional scope and allowed product to prioritize where to invest our time. However, manual testing was slow, hard to verify correctness or the latency, the timing, and it didn't scale as the number of questions grew. So shortly after, we moved to automated regression with baseline answers. We still use a golden dataset of curated questions, but now we created baseline answers for each one of them. We set up a controlled testing environment in staging and used date mocking to fix expected answer, since responses can vary by date. For example, if I ask, who is on call for the weather machine service? The answer will change depending on when I ask the question. If I ask it today or next month, the answer will be different. That's why we had to use date mocking to fix the current date. This made it much easier to run tests, scale up, and reliably verify correctness and timing. However, staging did not reflect the full complexity of production, and the setup was hard to build. Plus, it required frequent updates if the response format or wording was changing or anything in the staging account changed. So in our third iteration, we automated even further by dynamically generating baseline answers for each question. We kept our curated questions, but our testing environment became much more flexible. How did we dynamically generate baseline answers? Since we knew the questions, we could write code to calculate the response. We could now test with different dates, various users, and even use production-like environment and complex sandbox account. This allowed us to better evaluate latency and simulate real customer usage patterns. The main challenge here is that it still required frequent updates if the response format or wording changed. But overall, this approach gives us much more realistic and scalable way to test. How do we dynamically generate baseline answers? Here you can see some synthetic examples from the Insights agent, which analyzes account data to offer proactive recommendations and helps teams improve their operations over time. For instance, suppose we have a regression question, how many incidents the data science team have last month? Since we know exactly what's being asked, we can write an SQL query to calculate the correct answer directly from our data. When we run this query, we can get the correct answer, let's say 3 incidents. This approach lets us generate accurate, up-to-date baseline answers for our regression test, even as the underlying data changes. It also means we are not relying on static, hard-coded answers that can quickly become outdated. However, there was still one big challenge: reliably evaluating correctness. The agent's response wording often doesn't exactly match the expected answer, even if the information is correct. That's why we adopted using LLM as a judge for correctness scoring. So let me quickly explain what LLM as a judge for correctness scoring actually means. I assume most of you probably know. So when we talk about LLM as a judge, we are referring to using a separate large language model to evaluate the agent's response. After the agent generates an answer, we send both the agent's response and the expected response to this judge LLM. The judge LLM then compares those two and gives us a score based on how close or correct the agent's answer is. It's important to note that it can be a different LLM, usually more powerful and slower than the one used to power the agent. This approach helps us scale our testing because the judging LLM can quickly and consistently score lots of responses using a defined rubric. It helps us catch regressions or improvements over time and gives us a scalable way to evaluate the quality of our agent's answer as we continue to iterate. So here is the diagram of the recommended AI agents testing framework. Automated regressions with dynamically generated answers using an LLM as a judge. We start with a golden test of questions. For each question, we generate the agent's response using the version of the agent we are testing or evaluating. In parallel, we generate the expected response using code, queries, or APIs. Both responses, the agents and the expected, are sent to the LLM, which scores the correctness of the response. The correctness results, along with other metrics such as latency, are sent to the monitoring platform to ensure the current version does not introduce regressions. So before I transition to talk about other types of tests we need to develop for AI agents, I want to reiterate: regression testing is your quality gate. It ensures new changes don't break existing functionality or introduce bugs, especially in AI systems, when even minor updates can cause subtle regression. So how should we approach unit testing for AI agents? Unit testing of AI agents is designed to test the smallest individual component of agent logic to ensure they work as expected in isolation. Here is a simple graph that shows a basic agent flow. It starts at the start node, the agent may use some tools, and then adds at the end node. In general, the unit test in AI agent would test the tools, the LLM nodes, and the memory. I will give a few examples of unit tests from the shift agent graph, which is more complex. It supports several use cases, each represented by a node, and it's connected to the required tools for the use case. To decide which use case to follow, the agent always starts with the intent classifier node, which routes the user's question to the correct subgraph. This structure helps us reduce latency significantly because we don't connect all the tools to all the initial node. And it requires unit testing for each LLM node separately, such as the intent classifier node. So this is an example of an LLM prompt for the intent classifier node, which is used to classify users' intent into 4 use cases: conflict, coverage, schedule, and other. To test this LLM node, we will create a data set of user questions and test if the LLM's classifications are working as intended. We evaluate the correctness of the responses of the intent classifier node by comparing the use case returned by the prompt and the use case from the actual manual dataset, golden dataset that we created. Then we calculate score for different metrics such as precision, recall, F1 score. With each prompt change, we compare the new scores to previous runs to ensure there is no decrease in performance. Now let's review unit testing for agents tool. Let's assume the Shift agent has a tool called Get Service by Name, which is used to retrieve relevant service information based on user's question. Unit testing this tool involves checking that it returns the correct service in different scenarios. When the user gives us the full service name, when the service name is misspelled or partial name of the service. We also need to make sure that when the service name does not exist at all, it will return none or some predefined value. Those unit tests ensure that the tool is accurate and that corner cases are handled properly. So now let's move to another type of tests. Adversarial and ethical testing are especially important and unique for GenAI projects, particularly for AI agents. Adversarial testing helps us explore robustness against malformed and malicious prompts. We need to block questions that pose security threats, such as illegal request or attempt to access sensitive data. Adversarial testing also helps prevent prompt injection attacks or filter out inappropriate requests, including those in unsupported languages or questions unrelated to the agent's purpose. At PagerDuty, we use multi-layered approach to security. In most cases, our sub-agents are accessed through the AI assistant, which acts as the coordinator agent. We also add a security layer at each sub-agent level. So what techniques can we use to block adversarial questions? AWS Bedrock Guardrails is one example of an application you can use to configure guardrails for your agents. A more common approach is to use prompt engineering to define those guardrails. Of course, it's important to test whether adversarial inputs are actually being blocked. So here I included a few examples of adversarial inputs you should expect to see in your tests. Ideally, each type of adversarial input should have an appropriate response. For example, if you don't support a particular language, you should explain why the input was blocked and let the user know which languages are supported. Those are only a few examples, small subset of adversarial input types. You should analyze the potential threats for your application and make sure that all the threats are addressed. When developing an AI agent, in some scenarios, we have legal obligations to perform ethical testing. Remember, it may not be applicable for all agents. Our Shift agent could be classified as high risk under the EU AI Act because it handles task allocation decision and it could potentially impact fairness and employee treatment at the workplace. So we focus on bias testing, one of the ethical testings that are required, specifically gender bias. We developed a systematic process to test for gender bias, applied it to the Shift agent, and reported the results in our AI disclosure. The outcome, no gender bias was detected. But here's the important part. Do we need to run those tests again, even when bias is not detected? Absolutely yes. Every time we implement a major functionality change, we must rerun the complete bias testing process. This ensures continuous compliance and maintains the integrity of our ethical AI practices. So our gender bias testing uses dedicated scripts that auto-generated control test scenarios in staging. It created users, teams, schedules, and escalation policies for full reproducibility. The script first runs simulated fine coverage queries to find users who can potentially override the on-call shift across teams with different gender bias distribution, so we can detect the bias. It then computes the assistant's replacement suggestions and finally compared the suggested gender proportion against the actual team gender proportion. Of course, we can run the same test for other types of biases, for race and other examples. This systematic approach ensures we can detect any potential bias in the recommendations of the Shift Agent coverage assignment. If the suggestion consistently favor one gender over another, we can catch it immediately. So before I wrap up, I want to highlight the importance of having a robust monitoring and observability platform when developing and releasing AI agents to production. Without it, you are operating in the dark. We chose Arise as our monitoring and observability platform for AI agents because it gives us a really clear view into how our agents are working. With Arise, we can see the agent's execution flow node by node and track both individual node latencies and the overall latency. This visibility into how requests move through the agent and what decisions the LLM nodes are making at each step makes it much easier to debug and monitor our agents. But we don't just use Arise for monitoring and debugging. It also gives us powerful tools for both offline and online evaluations. For example, we can run automated regression tests like the one I shared earlier to make sure our quality and performance stays consistent. Those tests can be scheduled to run as often as we want or trigger on demand after code changes. If you want more details, check out the blog post I linked in the slides. It goes in a lot more depth on how we are using Arise at PagerDuty for our AI agents. So just to wrap up, here are a few key takeaways I want you to remember. First, when you start developing AI agent, make sure you begin by defining your regression test. This is your safety net. It helps you catch up issues early and gives you the confidence to iterate quickly. Second, remember that AI agents are complex. End-to-end testing alone is not enough. You need a mix of regression, unit, adversarial, and ethical tests to really cover all the bases. And third, always keep an eye on your agent's performance, especially latency. Even small changes can have a big impact on how fast and reliable your agent feels to users. And finally, as domain experts, make sure your organization has a clear, expert-driven process for developing, monitoring, and evaluating AI agents. Did I cover everything today? No, AI agents testing keeps evolving. We are already working on online testing, new approaches for testing MCP, and handling permissions when running actions by a SRE agent. We will keep sharing our learnings on the PagerDuty Engineering blog, so feel free to check it out and please share your feedback. Thank you. Any questions? There was a question over there.
Where's the question? Oh. Hi, first of all, great talk. I really loved your talk. The question I had was about your regressions and the unit tests that you run. As of today, do you have that integrated with any of your CI/CD processes, or is that run through Arise directly?
So since the LLM as a judge is a slower process and has a cost to it, we have a scheduled run every day. And the engineers, developers, before they're making a bigger update, they can run it on demand. But we could do that. It was just a choice based on how long it will take to run, because the amount of tests keep increasing. The more examples you find failing, then you fix and add those to regression. So it can be hundreds of questions to generate the responses and then compare with LLM. It takes time and cost.
Got it. So to confirm this, it's like a batch job that runs every day.
Yes. For some of the agents. And obviously it depends on the status. If the project is static and already released to general availability, not a lot of changes happening, you can change the frequency while developing, making changes. Then obviously you want high frequency of running your regression to catch fast if something changed.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? I think I lost my mic runner.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for coming.